The first place I ever saw a Trojan was at a Swifty gas station on the way to my grandparents', and I just remember being so embarrassed. Welcome back to the Green Means Go channel. It's your host, me. We have what I think will be one of the better games of the year this Saturday. USC comes across the nation to visit the Catholics of Notre Dame, firing Irish. What are they firing? We have USC coming to Indiana to visit the Notre Dame Fighting Irish in what is a bit of an interesting matchup. And usually I give out a lot of picks and talk about the game and things I like, and this one has me perplexed. So if you're here for locks, I don't have those today, but I do have some things to think about, some things to consider, and hopefully some things to lead you to understanding this game better before kickoff on Saturday. As always, hit that subscribe button. It helps me out. Let's go. Notre Dame has had its fair struggles the last few weeks. However, those struggles have come against top 25 teams, so they are still ranked. They are 21. USC is actually 10th. Got a Heisman Trophy candidate, probably winner, running their offense, and yet they are barely inside the top 10 of the AP poll. So I find that interesting, and a lot of that has to do with their defense, which we will talk about in a second. The first thing we need to talk about, though, is this weather. It's going to be about 50 degrees at kickoff with 94% chance of rain, 18-mile-an-hour winds. We'll talk about what that means for the total in a second. I saw a headline that USC has been practicing with wet conditions. They have been out there with hoses running around, running offensive plays with wet, slippery balls. So it's going to be a wild time if this weather does hold up. And I put this photo on here, and this is Notre Dame's field. You can see those lines in the end zone. I was like, what is that all about? It's always been like that. There's got to be a reason. So I looked it up, and I found out that those lines, there are 18 of them, 9 in each end zone, and they are angled at 42 degrees. Which represents the 1842 opening of the university. Who knew? Share that with your family this weekend. Looking at the schedules for both of these teams, obviously for USC, we see a lot of green W's and we see a lot of points. 56, 66, 56, 42, 48, 43. But we also see a lot of points on the other side, 41, 41 the last 2 weeks, and then almost 30 these other 2 times. So while they have been able to score points, they haven't been able to stop anyone on the other side of the ball. And for Notre Dame, obviously we see these 2 losses here, but one came against Ohio State. It was only 3 points. And they played that game pretty well. As for Louisville, I didn't watch too much of that last week, but I know a lot of people were very disappointed in how they played. But Louisville is one of the better defensive teams in the country, so I'm not worried too much about this, and I wish, and I'll talk about that right now, I wish we could have gotten a better price at Notre Dame, and this shows you how sharp Vegas really is, because you would think with those schedules, with those results, you may see Notre Dame as the underdog here. And I think if this game was being played in California, maybe we would see Notre Dame as the underdog. I was certainly shocked when I first looked at these lines to see that Notre Dame was the favorite. Now, it's only 2.5, but they are the favorite. And I think this is all about USC's poor defense. And it's all about Notre Dame having played some really stiff competition the last 3 weeks. So, yeah, Notre Dame is the favorite to win this game, even though they've lost 2 out of their last 3. The over-under is set at 60.5, and I want to point you to this minuscule chart down here. Sorry about that. It opened at 66.5. Now, I will clarify that was in the offseason, so kind of take that for nothing. But on the 8th of October, so about 3-4 days ago, it was at 63.5, and now it's trickled down to 60. So we've lost about a field goal, and I think a lot of that is people looking at the weather, expecting it to be pretty cruddy, and hoping that we can get some low-scoring, sloppy play. Taking a look at my script and leans, I'll start off with this. USC does not have a good win, and Notre Dame does not have a bad loss. That's the way I'm kind of approaching this. USC comes in a little bit inflated with their competition, whereas Notre Dame's kind of beat up, but that's somewhat to be expected given who they've played. Looking over at the USC side, again, weather mixed with the best defense they've played, I'm excited to see what this offense is capable of. And Again, guys, I cannot give you a lean or a lock truly in this one because I can see it playing out multiple different ways. So I'm just letting you know that this will be the best defense USC has played by far, and this will be the worst weather they've played in by far. So if you typically like to go with fading a team's performance with those two circumstances, by all means, fade USC this Saturday. I will say they have the top scoring offense in the NCAA, and they have the best passing team in the NCAA. However, they are the bottom rushing one of the bottom rushing teams, and they are one of the worst rushing defenses. So all that to mean this game should cater itself to running the ball. Well, that's advantage Notre Dame in a big way. I do think USC will lean on Marshawn Lloyd heavily in this game. I looked at his line. It was 75.5 yards, a little too steep for me, so I didn't touch it. If we could have gotten it around 50, I would have bit, but 75 is way more than I am comfortable playing. So again, ultimately I'm excited for this game. I can't sit here and handicap it the way I would like to for you guys. I'm just excited to watch. As for Notre Dame, they have the number 2 pass defense in yards per game in the country, and they've played good teams. So this matchup against Caleb Williams should be a fantastic one. And on their offense, Estime and Love, their 2 top running backs, are averaging 7 yards per carry. Okay, it says per game, but that's obviously incorrect. 7 yards per carry against one of the worst rushing defenses in the National College Association of Football. And it's going to be sloppy conditions, poor footing, okay, advantage offense. They know where they're going. Defense does. It just defense wins. All right, bottom line. Here's what I'm taking, okay? I typed something else out. I typed out something like ugly game, Notre Dame controls the ball, lots of punts, sloppy. The more I got to thinking about this, the more I think this USC defense is bad, and Notre Dame has been held back the last 3 weeks facing top 25 defenses, okay? So here's my prediction. Defense wins out in this one, all right? Notre Dame puts up 30 points on this team because they have played 3 top 25 defenses in a row, and they finally get to play like a 70th ranked defense, okay? They run well, they pass well, and they have some big plays, and I predict it to be somewhere in the 28-35 range. Now, I know that's sitting right on that number of 63 as it opened. It's down to 60. So as crazy as this sounds, I lean the over 60.5. Now, the weather certainly scares me. All right, but I think this talented USC offense is going to be able to overcome the defense enough to put up 3 to 4 touchdowns, and I don't see any way Notre Dame doesn't have at least 21 points in the first half, okay, and is able to do more in the second. So that is ultimately my prediction. As for my profit boost play, and if you want to follow all of my plays and boost suggestions on SoBet, please do so. Use my code GMG. Keeping it somewhat simple with this one, I like Notre Dame, okay, home total points over 31.5. I like Caleb Williams under 29.5 passing yards, and Notre Dame to win and cover that 2.5 point line. This is probably the riskiest one, in my opinion, but I do think Notre Dame's rushing defense is the weaker side. So if the weather is bad, I think USC would be better off running with Marshawn Lloyd. And if his total is sitting at 75.5, which it is, that tells me that books are expecting him to have a big day. So let's just congratulate the books on their typical knowledge of this stuff. We'll accept that as true, and we'll say that Caleb Williams underperforms in this one, stays under that 300 mark. So $10 pays you $66.80. As always, guys, thank you for stopping by. We'll keep these videos rolling if you keep coming back and liking, subscribing, and kissing me on the cheek. We will see you next time on the channel.